What up, boys and girls? This is Jamie Lynn, solin.com. Could be my first successful board repair that's more advanced, and I'm a noob at this, but I think I've got this one. I just need to get some parts. So I want to go over what I did to diagnose it, and I have board view up. I also have my makeshift camera set up so we can see the board. Pretty cool. Um, Hopefully I can improve upon that later on, but for now this is perfect. So this is a A2141 Macbook logic board, and I got this from eBay from a customer actually, and it doesn't work. I was able to fix his other board, so I gave that back to him, and it ended up being something that I could fix, and it worked. Now I want to fix this one to, honestly, I want to just have an extra MacBook to do my GitHub stuff and to build up my portfolio and to work on my application development while I'm on the bed, so I don't have to go to my desktop every time I want to program something. But then also, a secondary motive I have for fixing this is if I can learn how to fix these, I could potentially make a side business or a main business, because you never know what's going to happen next, right? So, oh, I'm stuck. My chair is stuck. I want to go over what I did, and basically what I'm doing is I'm going through, I'm sure Louis Rossmann said this a million times, I'm going through these power states for a computer. And I think Microsoft has system power states. Oh, we can't see. Get the board out of the way. So here's Microsoft.com. It talks about this. It says it's advanced configuration and power interface specification, the ACPI specification. There is these power states. Mechanically off is G3. In the MacBook repair videos, you hear about the PP bus underscore G3 hot. G3 hot, G3 hot. You hear that thing a million times, and it's because that is like the first power rail that always comes on, and all the power rails depend on that power rail, and it's usually around 12.6. My MacBook is actually 12.3. I'm not sure if that's okay or not. Copilot and Grok said it's okay. But what do they know? Those are just large language models, and they're just taking out information online, so maybe they are correct. It might be okay. It should be enough power. But that was the first thing I checked, is PP bus underscore G3 hot, and this is the first one right here. System is completely off, consumes no power. The system returns to working state only after a full reboot. This is always on. The second one is S5. System appears to be off. It's a state of full shutdown and boot cycle. It's also on all the time. So anything that you see that has S5 on it, like PP PP3V3 underscore S5 or PP1V8 underscore S5. Those should be working. If you have the connector hooked up, which I don't on this MacBook right now, if you have your connector hooked up here and you have, where is my connector at? I don't even know where it is. You have your Type-C connector hooked up. These two power rails should be alive. And then you have Hibernate, which is S4, and then you have Sleep, which is S1, S2, S3. Then you have S0. I know that there's some power rails that have the S0 on the end, and that basically means like the system is up and running, that CPU is up and running, the NAND flash is up and running, the RAM is going. So yeah, right now we can't get to this state because I found out that we're missing one rail for the S5 state. I also was able to connect this logic board to my old MacBook Air and use Apple Configurator 2, and this board is in DFU mode right now. It wouldn't matter, like even if I can get it out of DFU mode, it's still not going to work because it's missing one rail for S5 state. So, but it is in DFU mode. Now, let's go and see. I need to talk about what I did first, what I checked. So what I did was I started with the open board. Got this 820-01700 board view file that I have open right now. I looked for PP bus underscore G3 hot. It's the first one I looked at. And right over here, I put him down here. So right here is the two fuses right here, which I can show you that on the actual board. They are right here. They're green. Right here. I can't zoom in right now, but here they are, right in the middle, kind of by the battery connector. So what you do is you connect your Type-C connector and you power the board on, and then you put your multimeter onto DC voltage, and you check to see if you have 12.6 volts. I have 12.3 volts. I'm guessing that's okay. The next thing I looked at is the other one that you need. This is PP3V3 G. Oh, where's it? Oh, I got a period in there. G3 hot. In this case, it doesn't look like I have just the G3 hot one, but I do have some. I guess I can look at this one right here. And it seems like this is the easiest one to get to, is this coil right here. And it's kind of ironic that's showing it right here, because this is kind of a chip right here that you'll see in a few seconds. Right here, so let's put my camera right there. This is going to be this gray one right here. So here's the fan, here's the right side of the board, And then it's right here. By the way, this board is oriented to where if you take the case off, the bottom case, this is what you're going to see right here. So it's not upside down, so don't worry about that. We're only checking points that are accessible without having to take the board out right now. And so this big boy right here, check that while you have your Type-C connector connected. See if you have 3.3 volts or 3.4 volts, I believe. And if you do, you're good to go. You got those two G3 hot power rails. In my case, I had both of them, which is good. The next thing I checked is down here. We have this PP1V8. I thought it was an S5 rail. Let me search right quick. See if we can get the one that I looked at specifically. PP1V8. So it's around 1.8 volts. This is an S5. Here it is. So with this, we're going up to the next state. We are leaving the G3 hot and we're going up to the S5 state. And okay, well it does bring me back over here. So I'm pretty sure I went over here and looked for it, and I saw something interesting. Let's go there. It's right here. Oh man, yeah, we really need to zoom. We need to zoom. Go down lower. See if I get a little bit of light in here. So this is this area right here. I'll show you the resistor that you need to measure on. Let's look at it. Bigger view. Okay. Now, obviously you see that there's something missing, right? I already took it off the board. So, here we go. Okay. So we had a BIOS chip right here, and this BIOS chip, this U4770, is actually the BIOS chip for the T2. And it was crooked. I worked on this board. I've had this board forever. I must have reflowed the IC chip, the BIOS chip, and I didn't do a good job. There was water damage in this area as well, and I probably was cleaning it up, and I had two pads that were missing. Oh man, do you guys even see that? If I don't know if you can see this, but you see these nice silver pads. You see 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left side, and you're supposed to see 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right side, but the two in the middle are actually missing. So I messed up. I made a mistake. I lifted up those pads while cleaning off the corrosion. It's gonna happen, and so that's one of the parts that I have went ahead and ordered. But anyway, let's go through the process. Even before I took that IC chip off, I did notice that it was crooked, so I knew there's an issue there. There was still a little bit of corrosion there. I cleaned that off, and I checked the PP1V8 S5 rail on these two black resistors right here. These two black resistors right here, and I checked those, and we had 1.8 volts. We were good to go. But like I was explaining earlier, this U4770, which ended up being a BIOS chip, and I see that there's some SPI clock. There's also that SOC ROM, SPI underscore SOC ROM underscore CLK. SPI has, I think, 2 clocks, and they have also a master, an MISO, a master input slave output, and this is for communication with the T2 IC chip. You have this other one. So these two pads, number 3 and number 2, are missing. I saw that the chip was crooked. I knew I worked on it before, and I messed up. I used my hot air station to take it off, and I saw these 3 and 2 pads were missing, and the SoC is system on a chip, and ROM is read-only memory. I already know, like, this is some type of BIOS chip, right? And also, like, I'm not even looking at the schematics, right? Because I'm too lazy to look at schematics. I already know that this is going, just by looking at the board view, I already know that this chip is making a connection to the T2. This is right here, the U3900. There's some resistors right here that actually go to the BIOS over here. Here's a clock, the CLK. Here's the awake that powers this BIOS chip and powers a lot of other stuff on the board. We have that rail, so we're good. Here's this. We got this one. We have our ground. We just don't have 3 and 4. And this makes sense because I tried to revive this board using my MacBook and Apple Configurator 2. It was already in DFU mode. It showed up when I plugged in my Type-C cable on the, I believe it's the left side Type-C connector that is closest to the LCD, the one on the back. Connect that to your MacBook. You open up Apple Configurator 2, and I saw it in DFU mode. I could see it. I saw the Bridge OS. That's the T2 chip, by the way, the Bridge OS. It actually it has its own firmware called Bridge OS on it. And it's got its own BIOS chip. And, well, this is the BIOS chip right here. And I tried to revive it. I got the 4017 error, I believe. What error did I get? I got I believe the 4017 Apple Configurator error. This is talking about actually real apples right here. I think it's the 40 something. It means that you cannot successfully revive your iPad or your MacBook. It also said that it was in a forced DFU mode. I'm not going to open up my MacBook and show you guys that, or maybe I will. I have it right here. Just for complete sake. This old MacBook is so slow though. Probably going to take a few hours for it to boot up. Which is why I want to fix this 2019 A2141. Oh, it seems to be already gone. Okay, well, I already closed it. I closed the error message. I believe it's a 40019 or 40017. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, this is the video I used to connect my phone to OBS Studio, which is pretty cool. But anyway, let's go back. So we're missing these two pads, and I went to WGP Parts, based off in Oklahoma. Awesome store to get their wholesale gadget parts. Is their name. Awesome supplier, and you don't have to be a business. You can be whoever, and you can order stuff from there. If you are a business, I heard you get a little discount though. So I went there. I have some small jumper wire that I got, and I'm going to rebuild these two pads. But I gotta wait for those parts to come in. At least I know the problem. And I also know why I can't get out of DFU mode, because T2 chip does not have access to its BIOS chip. So there's no way to flash the T2 chip because it doesn't have access to its BIOS. Simple issue right there. The next issue was I knew that. I continued to check S5 rails. I wanted to make sure all my S5 rails were still present. I checked the PP5V underscore S5 rail. I actually couldn't find it, but I did find this one, the S5 underscore LDO. And I found out that it had low voltage while I had the Type-C charger connected. I took out the Type-C charge connector, made sure the battery wasn't connected, made sure there was no power on the board, and I changed my Fluke 101 multimeter to continuity mode. So when you touch these two positive and negatives, it will beep. I put my negative one on a ground point, which would be anything on the board that is a screw hole, like this one right here that you can see. It's nice and gold. Got some nice copper right there. This one right here. Put your black probe there, and then go up over here. And I went and I measured this pad on this yellow capacitor. This yellow capacitor is the PP5V underscore S5 rail. And I found out it beeped, meaning that it was shorted to ground. The next thing I did, I also did some more investigation. I found out that this other one, this P5VG3S underscore VSW, which ends up going actually to the CPU as like an extra 5-volt rail, was also low voltage as well, and there was a short on this one too. First thing I did was I removed this capacitor. I couldn't find any other capacitors on this rail, really. I did kind of look through, and I saw that it kind of went to here. Here's some ones that kind of connect to it on the other side. But I went ahead and I removed this capacitor, and I measured again, and the short was still there. So I put this one back because I didn't want to lose it because they're really small. And then I took off this U7650, which is a buck converter IC chip for the 5-volt S5 state rail. And I found out that this is the chip that had an eternal short inside of it. I removed it, and then I measured again this capacitor right here, and the short was gone. So I found out where my short was. I have to order this one, which is a TPS. A TPS. Wait a sec. So yeah, here's my jumper wires that I'm going to get. Wholesalegadgetparts.com. I am getting the TPS 51980B TI power controller. It has to be the 51980B, not the A. The A is for older logic boards, for older models. It's got to be the B one. This is sourcelyplus.com. They had the chip I was looking for, $12, worth the money. Hopefully they're located in the United States. Also got this pretty cool, I'm missing almost all the screws for this. So here's the engineering screw set for the A2141 at techtotal.io. Only $10. Oh yeah. Here we go. I have my sleep and wake sensor because that was destroyed by water damage. Got this mechanical jumper wire pin, and I got an assortment of jumper wires. I also need jumper wires to fix my Sony Walkman project that I'm too lazy to finish. And here we go. So after we fix this missing wires, missing pads on this board for the BIOS, for the T2 BIOS right here. After we fix these two, and then we put the BIOS back, and I tape the BIOS to my workstation so I don't lose it. I also have the old TPS 850 IC thing, 51980B. I have that taped to my desk as well. I'm going to have to reuse the BIOS chip. Hopefully it's okay. I think it is. If not, I'm going to have to get another logic board for parts. But here we go. As a noob, I think that after I fix these two issues... Oh, wait, what? No, no, no. Oh, wait a sec. Okay. Oh, OBS issues. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh no. I can't select my browser. No. Wait a sec. I can't. Okay, here we go. Oh gosh. Okay, there we go. Oh, here we go. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're fixing it. Okay, here we go. I want to make... Here we go. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so after we fix these two issues, fixing the S5 state 5-volt rail so that our other upstream rails, the S0 rail and everything, can also turn on. And to complete our DFU revive using Apple Configurator 2, I hope that my old MacBook, it's on Mac OS X 12 or something, I hope that's not an issue. It could be an issue, though. I might need to update my MacBook, which isn't... I have to do some type of hack to do that with OpenCore firmware loader for the BIOS on my MacBook. Might have to do that as well. But after we get the DFU restored, we do the DFU revive. We get this T2 chip with new firmware, and it's connected to its BIOS and everything. Then should be able to power up and go on, and the S3 hot rails will power on. They'll power on the S5 rails, and those will power on the SO rails when I hit that power button. And boom, this thing will be working. And then I'll be able to have an extra MacBook laptop that's not too slow. And then I'll be able to do some programming. The bad news is that I believe that this body right here, it's possible that the battery might be bad and might have some water damage for the keyboard. Also, I'm pretty positive that this LCD is broken and cracked. Oh, trackpad fell off. I am pretty sure that this might be bad LCD, so I'm gonna have to go on eBay, find an LCD that's used. I definitely do not want to take this LCD panel off this display, and I do not want to work on that. I hate, absolutely hate working on these displays. Like taking the LCD panel off of here, you know, and I mean, it's possible you can do it. You can use ultra thin little things, these little ultra thin things, and go across here, and then use your hotter station and stuff. And it is a living hell. And also after that, you got to worry about dust and stuff getting inside of your what do you call those things? Polarizers and stuff. You get dirty dust in there, then you put the new LCD on there, and you turn it on, and you can see that dust, and it's just it just drives me insane. I don't want to do that. Don't want to work on that. So probably gonna go on eBay, and here is a new body right here. New keyboard, new everything, new battery, new LCD screen is tested. They say it works, but first things first, when we get this MacBook to power on, we'll see if that LCD is bad. I'm pretty sure it is because I've used this on the other logic board that I was fixing for the customer, and it was cracked. Also, I see that it's kind of bent in the corner. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If it's okay, then we're just going to use that body. If it's not, I'm probably going to buy one off eBay. And then I'll maybe make a decision. Like, I'll use the computer for a little bit. It'll probably end up being like icy cloud locked, you know, and be like, damn it, I fixed all this crap for nothing. But at least we get a video out. So this is my Newb kind of walkthrough of finding out what the issue was on this A2141 820-017-000 MacBook logic board, and I hope that my repairs work. I will have a follow-up video after I do my repairs. I wish I could actually document me like actually repairing it and stuff, you know, like the pros do, like Lewis Rossman and all those Northbridge Fix and all those guys do. This camera setup is not bad. I have to admit, like, this is pretty good. This is pretty cool. I like it. I really like it. It says pretty clear, actually. And maybe I can get my camera to zoom in more. But then the issue is like, well, this is my microscope right here. It's like, how am I going to do this? Like, hold this with one hand and look at the microscope at the same time. I need to get one of those microscopes that like Northbridge Fix uses that is digital. I need to use a digital one that actually connects to my computer screen, and then I can just use OBS the whole time. But anyway, that's it. That's my Newb video on logic board repair. Yeah, I had this board for like 3 or 5 years now. And the customer doesn't want it back because it doesn't work. So, I don't know. Then if I do get it working, he'd be like, "Hey, Jamie, have you ever got that other logic board to work?" I mean, it is his board, so I would have to give it back if he asked for it, right? But yeah, that's it. I just think it's pretty neat that I was actually able to narrow down these two issues to find out why it's in DFU mode. Of course, we can't finish the repair to find out 100%, but it makes sense. Uh, it can't get out of DFU mode because a 2.2 chip cannot find its BIOS chip. And also, we're missing a 5-volt rail for the S5 state. Anyway, that's it. This is Jamie Lynn. Check out my website on solin.com.